In a quaint suburb of California, nestled among the sandalwood streets and picturesque houses, lived the Donovan family. Edward Donovan, the patriarch, was a seemingly ordinary man, a loving husband to his wife, Margaret, and a devoted father to his two children, Jessica and Samuel. To their neighbors, the Donovans were the epitome of the American dream. Little did they know that Edward harbored a dark and twisted ambition. Edward's secret was a pact with an ancient, malevolent entity known as the Whispering Shadow. Years ago, during a particularly desperate period in his life, Edward had sought out the shadow to secure success and prosperity for his family. The shadow promised him wealth, power, and influence, but at a grave cost. He must offer the souls of innocent children as sacrifices. Initially horrified by the proposition, Edward's desperation eventually led him to agree. The entity granted him 10 years to fulfill his end of the bargain. Over time, the shadow's influence brought Edward tremendous success. He climbed the corporate ladder with astonishing speed, transforming the family's modest lifestyle into one of opulence. As the years passed and the deadline loomed closer, Edward's resolve hardened. He convinced himself that his actions were necessary for the greater good of his family. He began to target the children of his neighbors, masking his intentions with charm and deceit. He would host neighborhood barbecues and holiday parties, all the while ingratiating himself with the community and gaining the trust of unsuspecting parents. Edward's first victim was little Timmy Carlson, a shy and timid boy who lived 3 houses down. Edward lured Timmy into his basement with promises of secret adventures and treasures. Once there, he performed the ritual the shadow had taught him, offering Timmy's soul in exchange for further power. The boy's disappearance was a tragedy that shook the community, but no one suspected Edward. He mourned with the rest of the neighbors, playing the part of the concerned and heartbroken father. Next was Emily Roberts, a bright and cheerful girl who loved to play with Jessica and Samuel. Edward told her he had a special surprise waiting in his shed, and she followed him eagerly, trusting him completely. The ritual was repeated, and Emily's life was snuffed out to feed the shadow's insatiable hunger. The town was plunged into a state of panic, and whispers of a serial kidnapper spread like wildfire. Yet Edward remained above suspicion, his facade impeccable. Margaret, sensing a growing darkness in her husband but unable to pinpoint its source, grew increasingly distant. She noticed the subtle changes in him, the cold glint in his eyes, the way he avoided certain conversations, and his late-night absences. But Edward's manipulation was skillful. He always had a plausible excuse, a comforting word, or a gentle touch to assuage her fears. The final victim was Michael Green, a rebellious teenager who often clashed with his parents. Edward exploited Michael's desire for independence, offering him a job in his home office. One fateful evening, Edward lured Michael into the basement under the guise of discussing future prospects. The ritual commenced, and the shadow grew stronger with each. As the 10th anniversary of his pact approached, Edward prepared for the final ritual, one that would cement his power permanently. The shadow demanded a particularly pure and potent soul to one of his own children. Edward's resolve wavered, but the shadow's whispers grew insistent, promising unparalleled power and eternal success. In the dead of night, Edward attempted to lure Samuel into the basement. But Margaret, having grown suspicious over the years, followed them silently. She witnessed the horrifying scene and confronted Edward, demanding an explanation. The truth spilled out in a torrent of guilt and desperation. Margaret, horrified and enraged, fought to protect her children. In the ensuing struggle, the shadow manifested, eager to claim its final prize. Edward, torn between his ambition and his love for his family, realized the true cost of his actions. With a final act of defiance, he turned on the shadow, offering himself as the ultimate sacrifice. The entity, bound by the terms of their pact, consumed Edward's soul instead. The basement erupted in a blinding light as the shadow was banished, its power broken. Edward's body lay lifeless, a testament to the price of his ambition. Margaret, Jessica, and Samuel emerged from the ordeal scarred but alive. The community, unaware of the true horrors that had transpired, mourned the loss of Edward Donovan, never knowing the darkness he had harbored. Margaret, determined to protect her children from their father's legacy, moved away from the neighborhood, seeking a fresh start. The memory of Edward's deception lingered, a reminder of the lengths some would go to achieve their desires and the ultimate cost of such ambitions. Please subscribe to my channel and be notified once we upload new content every time. Adios.